Welcome to the Reality Revolution. Today we're reading a powerful recent quote channeling. This one addresses a variety of questions, including wanderers' higher selves and their role in planetary evolution, spiritual growth and service through meditation, spirituality, depression and service, spiritual growth and service to others, charging money for service, discerning and seeing the truth, spirituality and the Great Awakening, various sources of the planetary population growth and spiritual evolution on Earth, chakra colors, joy, healing, and samadhi experiences. Quo is a principle of higher density civilizations that channel through a group called LL Research. So far, I've had the wonderful opportunity to read hundreds of these channelings, and each one really talks to my heart and resonates with me deeply, and it's been a joy to share them with you. Quo, connecting to your higher self. Delivered on February 10th, 2024. Jim channeling. I am Quo, and am with this instrument at this time. We are happy to join your circle of seeking this day, and to be with such an inspiring group of mind-body-spirit complexes that have many questions about the nature of their universe, their beingness, their seeking of the one in all things. We are most happy to be able to respond to such queries, but before we do so, we would ask you to be aware that we are not infallible beings. We are those who have walked the same path you walk, and perhaps a step or two further. And what we share with you is our opinions. If what we share does not have the ring of truth to you, whatever does not have that ring, then we ask you to set it aside so that it may not provide any stumbling block in your path. If you would grant us this favor, then we can speak more freely to you in our attempts to answer your queries. May we ask if there is a query with which we may begin. Hi Quo, this is S. I do have a question, may I ask? We are those of Quo. Please do ask your query, my brother. Thank you. When a sixth density wanderer by choice returns to third density for service, and then begins a reincarnative journey in third density space-time again, is there still a third density being or some other form that remains in time-space, acting in the capacity of its higher self? I'm not sure if this question is phrased in the best possible way, but I'm interested to understand the energetic or vibratory interplay between sixth density and third density in the context of a wanderer. Additionally, if in third density a conscious connection is made between third density and sixth density, how might this expansion of identity be of greater service to the one creator, both across space-time and time-space? I am Quo, and am aware of your query, my brother. When wanderers incarnate with the third density illusion, there's usually a preponderance of these wanderers that are from the sixth density. For the third density is a very challenging density, having the veil of forgetting so that the nature of reality is not seen as unity, but is seen as seeming separation. So when a wanderer of sixth density comes to planet Earth and goes through the forgetting process, there is available to that wanderer, as there is to each entity within the third density, the higher self that may be able to communicate with the wanderer when the conditions are appropriate. That is to say, when the wanderer within the third density has a question as to direction in the spiritual path, or how to ameliorate a difficulty that it has created or has experienced, then sometimes it is possible to make that contact so that a clearer picture may be seen by the wanderer within the third density. This is the process through which all entities, be they wanderers or third density beings, may access the higher self. However, since many wanderers are indeed of the sixth density, the higher self that they access is the higher self's higher self, which is called the mind-body-spirit complex totality that exists within the seventh density. Thus, there is still a kind of hierarchy, shall we say, of contacts that are possible for the wanderer of sixth density. The type of contact that you are speaking of, with the higher self or with the mind-body-spirit complex totality, is that which aids the wanderer in its performing and accomplishing its mission upon planet Earth, For each wanderer not only lightens the vibrations of the planet by its very being, but is also able to bring the planet various talents and skills that may be discovered by the wanderer as it goes through the life experience. The wanderer may not discover that it is a wanderer, or it may discover that, and yet the talents are more likely to manifest as pre-incarnative choices so that the wanderer is able to offer its love and light in a general sense to those to whom it comes into contact. This can be done by any means that is available to the wanderer, whether it is the work it does for a living, the neighborhood in which it lives with friends and neighbors that it may aid, with those that it meets on the street that are strangers. This type of service is that which emanates from the heart center of the wanderer and makes it possible for it to be of service that it chose to be of before the incarnation began. May we answer you further, my brother. Just a follow-on question, if a conscious connection is made by the third density entity with its sixth density counterparts or seventh density counterparts, does that interplay also have significance in time-space? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. Not only does it have significance in time-space, the very action of the work of the wanderer through the service that it has to offer, through that connection that is made, originates in time-space, for time-space is the truer nature of reality. The space-time that you experience on your planet Earth, this time, is that which is, as we have said before, a kind of seeming separation that does not notice or recognize the unity of all things. So indeed, the time-space is most important in the connection that is made with the wanderer and the services that it has to offer. Is there a further query, my brother? No, thank you. That was very helpful. I am Quo, and we thank you, my brother. Is there another query at this time? Yes. I have one that I think was floated around the circle, but it is, what can we do to develop and deepen our meditation and allow ourselves to receive more guidance from our higher self? And that is through meditation and through dreams. But what can we do? I guess develop a consistency with this? That's pretty much it. I am Quo, and am aware of your query, my brother. We find that you have, in essence, answered a portion of your own query by saying that to develop a practice on a regular basis is most helpful in your seeking of guidance from any sources, be they the higher self, your deeper mind, the one creator, the guides that you have with you in each incarnation. By setting an intention, you provide yourself a foundation stone upon which to build. In a daily practice, the meditational technique of seeking the guide that is most appropriate to you at this time, whether it be the higher self, the male guide, the female guide, the androgynous guide, or the synchronicity and coincidences that occur in your life pattern that confirm to you that the path that you are seeking is that which is most efficacious for you to travel. There is within each seeker of truth the desire to be more of service in their life path, as you have stated is true for you. And this desire is that which we may also call the will, which can be enhanced by the faith. Thus, if you have the will to be of greater service and to learn more and more, to serve more and more, then you can use the faith that is possible to propel that will, shall we say, into manifestation in your life pattern and in your daily round of activities. Is there a further query, my brother? No, thank you. I am Quo, and we thank you, my brother. Is there another query at this time? I have one, thanks, Quo. As I'm reading more books on the metaphysical, it's my subjective understanding that the veil here on Earth is being intentionally lifted ever so slightly so that humankind can become more adept and magical, for lack of a better word, with the intent to better unify us together more collectively as we transition into fourth or fifth density. If that is indeed the case, what are some things to look out for here as this progresses? And is there anything we can do in our limited capacity to help with this progression? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my sister. There is indeed a greater and greater influx of the fourth density vibrations that is engulfing your planet at this time, and which has been occurring for a great portion of your time. As you would measure time, this allows many who are what you would call the conscious spiritual seekers of truth to begin to penetrate that veil of forgetting and to experience a greater nature of the reality of the world about them, seeing more of the unity, the love of the Creator within the self and within other selves, and to be of service by sharing that greater apprehension and love vibration with those about one. However, for those who are not what you would call the conscious spiritual seekers of truth, there is less of an opportunity to take advantage of the thinning of the veil, for there is the inability to perceive that such is possible, that such might be a portion of one's life path. This is the reason that there is so much dissension and disharmony upon your planet at this time, for the energies that are engulfing your planet are not being perceived by many as that which is perceivable. They are unaware that this is possible. They move through their life patterns, continuing as they have, from the past to the present to the future. It is hopeful that people such as yourself, who are conscious spiritual seekers of truth, may use this increased knowledge and experience of the true nature of reality as being unity, full of love and light, to share this love and light with those about one, to be, as shall we say, the seed that is cast onto the ground, with the hope that it will sprout when watered by your love and light, and by the love of light and others that are like you, who move through their incarnation experiences and seek to be of service in the same manner. Is there a further query, my sister? No, thank you. I am Quo, and we thank you, my sister. Is there another query at this time? I have a query. This is N1. Is there a role for traditional religion in assisting spiritual seekers today who have found that traditional religion has no meaning for them? I am Quo, and am aware of your query, my sister. We are aware that there are many who have the feeling that the traditional religions upon your planet have, shall we say, atrophied, and have become so stiff in their dogmatic positions that there is no flexibility to see beyond that which has been practiced for a great many of your years. Thus, this is what is the problem, shall we say, with many traditional religions. But we would suggest that to the pure seeker of truth, there is a path to the one infinite creator within the self and within all of the creation around one, by practicing the more, shall we say, mystical aspects of any traditional religion. For each religion upon your planet has the more mystical aspects, that does not have the dogmatic attitude that this or that is right, and this or that is wrong, but sees that the path of the pure spiritual seeker is that which can see the Creator in all about one, can share the love of the Creator with all about one. Thus, it is more the case that the one who utilizes any traditional religion may utilize it as an efficient tool, shall we say, to move further along their own spiritual path of opening their heart in unconditional love to those about them. Is there a further query, my sister? Thank you very much. I am Quo, and we thank you, my sister. Is there another query at this time? I have one. I am D, and the topic of interest to me and the question that I have is around my perception of societal depression. It seems to me that there is more of it of late than I recall, but perhaps that's just my impression because it's recently struck closer to home. So my question is actually two. Is my perception correct? Is there a general increase in depression among society? And the second is, what can I do to help alleviate that? What can others do to help alleviate that? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. The quality of the mental depression that you speak of is oftentimes a product of what you might call the cultural collapse of the ability to use the catalyst of change that is occurring upon your planet at this time. There is so much frustration and anger, and the feeling of being unable to deal with the difficulties that require change, and the expansion of one's perception of those about one as being that of a loving nature, of that which is more of the Creator within that has been expressed. When this is not able to be experienced because of the feeling of overload, you might say, then the mind and the emotions become overtaxed with the feeling, both conscious and subconscious, that the world about one is falling apart, when it is in truth that which is within each self that has the difficulty in finding the true nature of reality as being that of the true love of the one Creator. When that can be done by a person such as yourself or any conscious seeker of truth, this is that which is the cure, shall we say. The image or experience within the depressed mind that there is a spark of love that has been sent forth to them, and that this is something that is a real portion of their reality, and can counterbalance that original feeling of depression due to too much instability, catalyst of anger, depression, because there's so much to do, so much to perceive, so much to process. Thus, you can be of great service by shining your light and your love to those whom you meet, whether it is in your community, your work, in any place that you are with others, This is a great task, a great joy of service that each conscious spiritual seeker of truth may offer to those about them. Is there a further query, my brother? No, thank you for your advice. I am Quo, and we thank you, my brother. Is there another query at this time? Yes, Quo. Thank you so much for being here with us and allowing us to be with you. The question, this may be inchoate, but it has to do with discernment and how to skillfully proceed and use discernment in the face of what might be difficult catalysts or catalysts unfamiliar. How does one hold to the truth of this reality beyond desire and discern what one is seeing or perceiving without an attachment or distortion of one's personal desire? I hope that is clear. I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my sister. We would suggest that discernment can begin with each conscious spiritual seeker by using the intellect to look at the various possibilities of how to respond to a difficult situation. When those possibilities have been enumerated, then we would recommend that you move into the true nature of your being, the heart of love. This could also be seen as a type of intuition that you utilize in making a decision as to what your mental faculties, your intellect, have given you as alternatives. This is a means by which you move into the nature, the true nature of your being, which is the heart of love, the Creator, and then use it to choose your path from those possibilities that you have created with your intellect. Is there any further query, my sister? Yes, thank you. In light of experiences that I mentioned, if this applies to everyone on some level, this sense of energy or approach, or I hope you know what I'm talking about, these experiences I just spoke of, I cannot discern whether they're energetic or material, and I just feel like I can't. I just have to love what is and watch it is what I'm hearing you tell me. Is that correct? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my sister. You're basically correct, for this is a process which you need to utilize within your own free will, to look at that about you that has been occurring to you as a sign or message that you can begin to discern through your conscious intelligence. But making the final decision is that which comes from the heart, for that is the true nature of your being. Your intellect is a kind of computer that gives you information. Your heart is the true nature of your being that discovers the most loving and heart-filled response to any situation that you are experiencing. Is there a further query, my sister? No, thank you. I am Quo, and we thank you, my sister. Is there another query at this time? Yes, Quo. I had a question. I understand that service to others is not asking for anything in return. I love helping people, and it has become a business of things for me, and I'm struggling a bit with charging people money as I want to serve them and not ask for anything in return. I kind of view it as an energy exchange, but did you have any thoughts about this or insight for me perhaps on this subject? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. In this instance, rather than speaking specifically to yourself and your own experience, where you are uncertain as to what to do, we would speak in a general sense in order to not abridge your free will. When one wishes to be of service to another, it is the wish that is the foundation stone of one's being. The intention to be of service without expecting any kind of return is that which is the pure journey taken by the service to others polarity. When one is in a situation in general where there is the necessity to make a charge for what you call your money or some sort of payment, then we would suggest that you look upon that payment to you as that which can be utilized in further service to others by the way you use it, the way you, shall we say, spend it, so that you are giving again that which has come to you in the form of a payment and have given it to others who are making their living selling you what they have to offer and what you need. If you can look upon the giving and sharing of one kind of gift, be it money, intention, or love, as the ultimate form of seeing the Creator in all, then you may make your own choices as to how this is done. Is there any further query, my brother? No, thank you very much. I'm grateful. I am Quo, and we thank you, my brother. Is there another query at this time? Yes, I'm curious of an event that I've come to know as the Great Awakening that is at some point in the future, and my question has to do with the readiness for that. From my readings, it seems that there needs to be a certain readiness on the part of the world's population or world events. I don't really know what, but my question has to do with what are some of those inputs that will drive the Great Awakening? What are some of the variables, or in engineering terms, what are some of the metrics that we might use for that? Is it a decision that's based on variables, or is it something else that determines that point in time? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. The Great Awakening, as you have called it, is something that is hoped for by the Confederation of the Planets in the service of the One Infinite Creator. And this is what has been hoped for a great period of your time, as you would measure time. It requires a mass conscious transformation across what you see as distances within the heart of one's being. The heart of most beings is not that which has been awakened as yet, for few upon your planet now are conscious seekers of truth that are aware of the heart and its love that flows freely through one from the one infinite creator that made all there is out of love and light. Thus, we would suggest that you look to groups such as this one and so many other thousands of groups around the world who are conscious, spiritual seekers of truth that can offer their prayers, their meditations, the actions of love to others that they take in their daily rounds of experience, and in every possible way plant the seeds of this great awakening in the place where they are in the world in which they live, however large or small. Thus, does each entity within the group and all groups together provide the possibility of such a great awakening. Those of Ra suggested that this third density illusion has somewhere between 100 and 800 years to go, and it is our hope that within that time span that these seeds of service may awaken the entire planet so that it may choose to be of the positive polarity in one fine, strong moment of inspiration. Is there a further query, my brother? No, thank you. I am Quo, and we thank you, my brother. Is there another query at this time? Yes, Quo, thank you. So I'm basically a happy, joyful person, or that's my intellectual look at the world, but when I look at the world, my heart breaks. I think I need help with that to understand, how to look at the world the way it is and not let your breaking heart break the rest of you. I don't know, is that a question? I am Quo, and we do perceive a question, my sister. When one looks out upon the world about one must remember that this third density is an illusion. It is an experience of seeming separation from each other, from the one creator, and from the heart of love. And yet, if you are aware that the creator exists within each entity, you are aware that each entity is giving the creator a means by which it may know itself better, even in those areas which might seem of a negative or traumatic way. This is a means by which each entity in this third density illusion and in all third density illusions may be of service to the creator. And also there is sure knowledge that the creator exists within each entity, and that at some point each entity will find within itself that great desire to seek more of what is within the world around it in a spiritual sense, so that it may travel that positive path into service to others and eventually move into the fourth density of love and understanding. Thus, both the seeming negative experiences and the positive ones are means by which the creator can know itself better, and the spiritual seeker can know the creator better and itself better, so that in the final analysis, shall we say, all is one, all is well, and all will be well. Is there a further query, my sister? That's very helpful. Thank you, Quo. I am Quo, and we thank you, my sister. Is there another query at this time? I have one. In the raw material, Ra basically said that the third density of planet Earth was seeded from the core group of beings from Mars, and then from Maldek, they came in as second density. If you look at the population of the planet today, from the beginning of the 20th century to this point in time, population is a mushroom from about 1 billion people to 8 billion people. If you go back 2,000 years, the population was probably in the 150 million. These entities that are populating, and some of us are right here in the mix, are not native because most of these entities on planet Earth are not native to Earth. Probably none are in third density. In recent times, with the influx of entities with this huge population growth, there are probably few systems from where other entities are coming in to repeat the third density. I was hoping there could be some light that could be shed about some of those systems for where entities are now coming into Earth, and if populations in those systems have migrated to fourth density. Others are repeating from there to here. What stories can be brought from those systems of migration that could be of benefit to humanity at this point in time, because many of the souls from those systems are here at this point through this great transition? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. We find that the response to this query has a number of elements within it. There are indeed many entities that have come to your planet in the last few thousand years that were not able to make the, shall we say, the harvest or the graduation on their third density planet after the master cycle of 75,000 years of third density was completed. They chose this planet in order to try once again to make that harvest. And that is the source of at least 13 different kinds or planetary entities that have joined planet Earth. There are also entities who have made the harvest on other third density planets and have come here to be of service to those on this planet as all attempt to make the grade or the graduation to the fourth density. These entities were called those of the doubly activated bodies by those of Ra, which suggests that they have both the third and the fourth density body in activation and are able to be of greater service by aiding the entities upon this planet that are feeling such a disconnect, such separation, such difficulty. The dually activated beings see this situation as one in which there is the great opportunity to be of service. Thus, there are those who are coming from other third density planets. Thus, we see that your plane at this time has a great multiplicity of sources of its population, and it is the great hope of the confederation of planets in the service of the one infinite creator that the great amount of catalyst of difficulties of anger, separation, and confusion can be worked with by all third density beings, because this is the way that growth occurs, working with difficulties, the pain of change, the changing of the outlook, the seeing of a different path, and the discarding of the old. This is what we see now upon your planet, and are very hopeful that the catalyst of this planet and its population can be utilized in a positive sense so that all may move forward as what those of Ra called a social memory complex into the fourth density of love and understanding. Is there any further query, my brother? Yes, there's one more. We are a part of a silver family, and in the silver archetype of the sub-logos that we live within is sharing entities from other sub-logi similar to the sun, where the template of the galactic logos is also playing out perhaps a little differently. Within the grander scheme of the creator and the evolution of creation, how is this impacting the sub-logos, its own journey and the connection it may have with the other 13 systems from where this intermixing at this time? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. The various sub-logi, which are the equivalent of your own sun, are those entities which are of the complete realm of 8 densities. That is, they do not move through a path of evolution, but send their love and light to the population of each planet that travels about the sun's sub-logi in its path of orbit. Thus, the difficulties that are seen in certain planets, such as your planet at this time, are seen by the sub-logos as that which is as the child which needs more nurturing and more consideration, more love and more light. And this is the literal movement of light that gives light to those with on each planet that moves about the sub-logi. Thus, this love and light may be used in any manner which those of the population of any planet may choose. It is, as we have said before, our great hope that this light and love of each sub-logi may make it possible for the entities upon this planet to move forward on their spiritual paths by experiencing life-giving light in a practical and in a metaphysical sense, so that the growth of the body is also reflected in the growth of the mind and the spirit, and the spiritual journey may begin. Is there further query, my brother? I am Ko, and we thank you. Is there another query at this time? Excuse me, Ko, I don't mean to dominate the time, but I do have a question, and it has to do with the sensation associated with chakra activation. I had a sensation like a paper butterfly or something. There was no emotion attached to it, and then S mentioned that the petals opening or a feeling in the chest. Are these indicators of heart chakra activation in this case? I am Quo, and I am aware of your query, my sister. The activation of various chakras or energy systems or centers within one's bodily complex and energy body are often experienced as a kind of movement of what you may call excitation or activation. The one experiencing this activation or energizing of any particular chakra is feeling the activation of energy moving from the sun, sub-logos, through the red ray, orange, yellow, and so forth in a manner which can be physically, emotionally, and spiritually perceived. In many cases, the perception is unique to the experiencer. In other cases, there are general descriptions or experiences which may feel like a vibration that is moving in a certain pattern or place and gives one a mental feeling of the movement of energy, the experience of movement, the experience of vibration. Is there another query, my sister? No, thank you. I am Quo, and we thank you, my sister. Is there another query at this time? Yes. I want to ask about the significance of colors. As I sit here in your presence, Quo and newfound friends, I have with my eyes closed very vivid red, blue, green, and purple, but the most dominant is a definite blue hue that recurs over and over and floats up and outward, Is there any particular significance to these colors, and blue in particular? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. We find that there is a significance to such colors that may be unique to each person depending upon their knowledge and experience of the opening of various chakras or energy centers within their own energy body. The blue that you have referred to is that which is usually associated with the throat, the ability to speak in clear and oftentimes inspiring communication. So the blue would signify a beginning ability to express oneself or experience oneself as having the Creator moving through the throat chakra to give the feeling of clarification of honest communication, clear communication, the crystallized nature of the throat chakra. Various other colors are also related to the chakras in a way which is of a general nature. Is there a further query, my brother? No, it's very helpful, thank you. I am Quo, we thank you, my brother. Is there another query at this time? I'd ask one more question, Quo. When we've awakened to more of our true selves and we are doing the inner work and shadows come up and whatnot, I often find that we get serious in the work that we forget to find joy and some laughter in the mix. Can you express the importance of joy and laughter along with the spiritual work? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my brother. We do agree with you that joy and laughter are true guideposts along the way that can become difficult because that is the way learning occurs through processing catalysts that creates the pain of change. And yet, when one has created the change, one is a new being moving forward on the spiritual path. However, it is sometimes quite tedious and repetitive and difficult, as you have noted, to complete this one time after another and another. Thus, the sense of humor, the sense of proportion of seeing the path as that which contains paradox, contains riddles, contains puzzles to make one smile, the synchronicities, the coincidences that remind one that it is not only a spiritual path of purity and purity of intention, but it is a path that one may laugh, relax, have a good time, and be fully of that which you have called joy, for the laughter and the joy are also fuel for the spiritual path. If one wishes to travel in a dedicated fashion, as you have mentioned, it is possible to move forward in that way. And yet if one adds the joy and the laughter, it speeds the path, for it opens the heart even fuller so that more love can be given, or laughter can be had, or joy can be shared. Thank you so much. I am Quo, and we thank you, my brother. Is there another query at this time? Quo, how can one access the spiritual qualities to heal oneself and others? I am Quo, and I'm aware of your query, my sister. The healing of oneself or others is that which can be accomplished by going deep within one's own mind to make contact with the greater mind, the cosmic mind, the mind of the one infinite creator, which shows each entity that in truth each is whole and perfect and healthy, that any appearance or perception of disease or illness is that which can be cured by allowing the Creator's love and light to flow through you to the one to be healed or to stay with you. If you are the one to be healed, thus it is not you who do the healing, but you who allows the healing energy of the one Creator to move through you to heal you or another. Is there another query, my sister? No, but that was very helpful and clear. I am Quo, and we thank you, my sister. Is there another query at this time? Quo, can you speak on ecstatic states or samadhi? What is the purpose? And purpose may not be the right word there. Is it a taste of the next level of consciousness? Is it a distraction? What is it? I am Quo, and we are aware of your query, my sister. The experience of samadhi, which has various other names in various cultures, is the experience of union with the Creator, which has been brought about when one has removed the blockages of the lower energy centers of the red, of the orange, of the yellow, the green, the blue, the indigo, and moving into intelligent infinity, or the experience of samadhi. This is the experience that each entity seeks within the life path at some point, whether this incarnation or another, for it is the great goal of each spiritual seeker of truth to know the Creator intimately, to become the Creator, to shine the Creator's love and light about one, and the experience of samadhi is that which has the ability to do so. Is there another query, my sister? There is. I wonder why the states are so fleeting. I wonder if it's a matter of practice and diligence and meditation or something else. I am Quo, and we are aware of your query, my sister. These states of samadhi are those which are, shall we say, steps along the way of unification with the infinite creation that each seeks to take. The path of this samadhi is a gradual path, in most cases for the complete experience of unification would be for many, shall we say, energy too great to accommodate, and must be parceled out in a gentle fashion, shall we say, so that one is not overwhelmed by too much joy. Thank you. We are Quo, and we thank you, my sister. Is there another query at this time? Is there a final query at this time? Not a query, just a statement of appreciation and thanks for this. Thank you, Quo. We are Quo, and we thank you, my sister. It has been a great honor for us to join your circle of seeking, for we feel the power of your desire to be of service to others by getting more of an open-hearted feeling and experience in your own journey of seeking the one Creator. We feel that you are moving along a path that is quite inspiring, a path that never ends until each one is with all, the one infinite Creator. And this is a path that we share with you, and we are grateful to have traveled a few more steps along that path with you today. At this time, we shall take our leave of this group and of this instrument. We leave each in the love, the light of the one infinite Creator. We are known to you as those of Quo, Adonai Vasu Boragas. So there's lots of amazing questions in this particular channeling. In the higher self portion of this channeling, they ask an interesting question because there are wanderers, and for people who don't understand, these are people that are moved into higher densities that have come back to the earth out of service. It's a great sacrifice. They can get stuck here, literally for many, many years, millions of years. And so it's kind of a sacrifice. And so I've wondered, once you move into sixth density, that's when your higher self is created in the 6.5 density. So if you're in that sixth density and you move back into third density, then what happens to the higher self? This is referring to the seventh density higher self. Early on in my channel, I have a meditation meeting the quantum higher self, and I had this experience. And it's an amazing experience where I met all my higher selves. As I started to explore parallel realities, I realized that each of my realities had a higher self, and that's the sixth density. You have a higher self in this density, meaning this reality. And then in seventh density, it was like a collection of all the higher selves into one grand higher self. And that was the seventh density higher self. That was an amazing experience for me. So check that meditation out. That's meeting your quantum higher self. I like to call it that. But it's interesting that there are multiple higher selves along the path. Some other interesting questions about the Great Awakening, a word that's been used and psyoped a little bit, but there is this feeling in the raw material and other Quo channelings that there could be a point that we reach where we have this mass awakening where everybody realizes that we're one. It would transform the planet, and it's something that I believe has been happening slowly, but there could be this catalytic event or something that would happen where we come to this realization. And that's always been my great goal and desire, and I try to see that, and it would be a wonderful thing to experience. Another great question was about the nature of the earth and all the different entities that are reincarnated here. And as they explained, there's like 13 different planets where people were not able to complete their third density to move to fourth density that come here. Why do we have so much conflict on this planet? Why are there so many wars and disagreements? Perhaps it's because so many people come from other planets that were not able to ascend into the higher levels of consciousness. And we have a gathering of people that are just not able to do it. And so it creates greater catalysts, and it can be frustrating, but it also gives us the opportunity to make great transformations. And the experience of those others and seeing ourselves in those others is greatly educational and transformative. Another question that I related to was the idea that for true service to be given is you can't charge anybody for what you're doing. So it can be frustrating, like, I don't want to charge anybody for this. It doesn't feel like it's truly of a service orientation. And so Quo's guidance is know that the money that you receive from the service that you're offering, you can give that money to others in service, so it's not necessarily tainted in that way. Lots of other interesting answers. I'd love to know your favorites. Please share your thoughts and feelings in the comments. I love to read through, especially for the Quo episodes, because I feel like there's some amazing spiritual teachers that follow these Quo messages, and I'd love to get your impressions of this. On this beautiful day, I'm sending all the love and light I have in my heart, seeing you happy, loving. Know that there is love in this very moment, no matter what's going on with you. and I'm with you all the way as you are with me. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.